Hello, welcome to episode 39 of the Casual Tryhard Podcast. I'm Brian.
And I'm James.
And today we're talking about Brawl.
Brawl for all.
That's right. So we're going to talk about all the Brawl precon decks, what we did to them to change them. We went hard on some because we were excited about them, and others we went less hard.
Yeah, spoiler alert, I like the Jund one.
I like drawing cards.
Yeah.
So reach out to us if you have some ideas for some of the decks or give us what you think you want to do to them.
Yeah, if you want us to take a look at a list or if you got ideas for the show.
Yeah. So you can get at us at Twitter at Casual Tripod.
You can find us on Facebook at Casual Tryhard MTG. You can email us at show@casualtryhardmtg.com and check out our YouTube page, Casual Tryhard MTG on YouTube. Yesterday I put out a deck tech on Rakdos Adventures list that Brian had tweeted out, and evidently a lot of people saw it. So
yeah,
if you're into that stuff, let us know and we'll keep making it.
Based on my 5,000 unread emails, people still send emails.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but are they all spam?
Not all of them.
All right.
I don't read a lot of my emails, clearly. But we're here in live Technicolor in the back of the Myrtle Beach Games store.
Yep. This is going to be a video episode on Myrtle Beach Games' YouTube channel.
Yep.
So make sure you go check that out, and you can watch all of our set review videos and that kind of stuff.
And this is the point where we put up our hands, and Juan does something.
Something.
We don't know
Who
what.
knows
it
what's
could be
here.
anything.
Could
it
be
could be a
anything.
boat.
It could be Porky Pig.
Or Porky Pig in a boat.
It could be Porky Pig in a boat.
We're making Juan work today. So thank you, Juan, for all the sight and sound magic today.
Thanks, Podcast Dad.
For arena stuff, later this week, I'm going to put out a new sheet.
Mm-hmm.
So look for that. I'm going to kind of base it on the Star City Games Day 2 meta plus some...
so it's going to be all Golos.
13 slots of Golos.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try to get some goldfish data in there as well to try to fill out enough decks. But we're going to have something for you to start working on and churning through shortly.
Yep. Make sure you guys are doing that. It helps everybody out. The more data we get, the better the conclusions we can draw and give you guys content that you want.
So we're going to jump right into these Brawl decks.
Yeah, so what's Brawl?
It's like standard Commander.
Kind of, sort of, yeah. It's a format that Wizards kind of threw at us like a year ago, right? With Dominaria. Kind of died off a little bit. I think mainly because there wasn't a ton of great support for it.
And Brawl's busted.
Brawl was busted also. Brawl. Yeah. Chief of Compliance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Chief of Unfun Magic.
Yeah. Also, I think the games played out less like Commander than people had anticipated because there were some cards that were missing, namely board wipes and some of the mana rocks to fix your mana.
Yeah, and there weren't a lot of multiplayer focus cards.
Yeah. So Wizards has kind of fixed that with these precon decks. Most of them include some type of board wipe. They all have a command tower and a new mana rock, Arcane Signet.
Yeah.
To try and fix your mana and hopefully let people brew a little bit now that those cards are technically legal.
Yeah. And if you get one of these decks, all the cards in them are standard legal.
Mm-hmm. There's some good cards in them too.
Yeah, so now some of them don't do anything in standard.
Right.
The Arcane Signet and Command Tower don't do anything.
Right, because you don't have a commander.
But there are rares that are playable in standard or could be playable in standard that are only available in the Brawl decks.
Right.
And there are a reasonable number of good-ish standard rares that are in the deck.
Yeah, well. They all have a shock land in them.
Yes.
So that's half your investment is in the shock land.
They have a shock and they have a scry land and they have a temple.
Yep.
So Brawl is mostly a casual format.
Yeah, there's a lot less competitive light shed on it. It's not really meant to be a competitive format. It's meant to be more for funsies, and we'll get into that in a little bit here about how that ties into upgrading your Brawl deck. More importantly, it's going to be on Arena, right?
Yeah, it's going to be on Arena starting this week.
Yeah, this week or next week, I think.
It's going to give you another way to play. Now, on Arena, it's going to be a 1v1 format. Arena doesn't have support for multiplayer.
Right.
But that also can impact how you want to build your deck.
Yes.
Right. I know my upgrades are more focused on a 1v1
that's fine.
arena kind of play situation.
Yeah, if that's how you'd rather play, that's up to you.
Yes.
I don't see a problem with playing 1v1 Brawl at all.
Yeah, there were 4 precon decks, and they were Bant, Jund, Esper, and
Mardu.
Yep. The one we blocked out.
Yeah.
And so they kind of give you a wide range of play. These are also reasonable starts if one of the other 3-color legends from M20 looked interesting.
Yeah, like I know you said the Bant deck could easily be transitioned into a Yarok deck.
Yes, you could easily, there's like 6 white cards in kind of the final list that could easily become black cards.
Yeah.
And so you could play another commander with like the same kind of core, right? Just those, like the Mardu, there's a Mardu Angel that could be your commander,
right?
With some of those pieces from the Mardu deck. So there are some things you can do with maybe cards you already have plus these cards, like to make a totally different deck or give it a different feel with a different commander.
Yeah. So like we said, these decks kind of by nature are a more casual format. You don't really have to worry about, being a spike and showing up to your Brawl table and smashing face. That's not really what the decks are about. They're meant to be kind of a palate cleanser from the more competitive formats, right? At least that's how I see it.
I try to win every game I sit down to play.
Sure.
So, sure.
Sometimes you just need a break from playing 40 games against Golos.
Fair.
Of course, Golos could be your Brawl commander also.
I've thought about that. All the cards, Golos.
Yep.
There you go.
So, because of that, though, I know the last time we did a deck upgrade video, we kind of did like levels, like a level 1 upgrade, a level 2 upgrade. We're not really going to do that this time because of the fact that it's more casual and because it's a singleton format. The deck lists, it's not as important that you make these specific changes. You can kind of do them as you...
Yeah, you can get things and you might like not agree with something that we cut.
Yeah.
You can always be like, you know what, I'm going to just keep this card that came in the deck with it and call it good there.
Yep.
It's not like you're trying to build a tier 1 or tier 1.5 deck from your precon deck. You're trying to tailor it to what you want to do and how you want the deck to play.
Yep.
So our idea of what we want the deck to do and your idea might be different.
Yeah.
But this is just going to give you a sense of what we think is going on.
Even if you like our deck and you want to build the list that we made, it's not something that you have to do all at once.
Yeah, you can slowly get stuff.
Yeah, these lists they're pretty easy to just kind of roll your way into.
Yeah. So the first thing we're talking about is Chulane.
Yep. I
was most into this, and so I may have gone a little hard on the changes.
Yeah, this was the first one spoiled, I think.
Yeah, and I think it's when I played the most in the arena event.
Yeah.
This and then Korvold were my 2 that I played.
Yep.
Chulane is 2 in Bant. Is he a 3/5?
What's Bant for people that don't know what Bant is?
White, blue, and green.
So 5 mana total.
5 mana total.
Okay.
He's a 2/4 or a 3/5. Something not a very attacky.
Yeah. 2/4, I think.
Yeah. And whenever you cast a creature spell, you get to draw a card and you can put a land from your hand onto the battlefield.
In that order.
So
you get to draw your card, and if it's a land or you have another land in your hand,
you just put it on the battlefield.
Yep.
So he draws you cards and ramps you.
Yep.
And then 3 mana and tap him, you can pick up one of your creatures and put it in your hand.
Right.
You can bounce it.
Any creature.
Including
Chulane.
Yes. Yep. And he has Vigilance, so you can get in there and then pick him up.
If you want to, yeah.
Right. So this, since he rewards you for casting creatures and gives you a way to rebuy your creatures, I think you want to maximize your enter the battlefield ability. So every creature you play should be either kind of giving you mana or giving you some spell-like effect.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to play a lot of spells, you just want to play a lot of things that are creatures that are going to draw you cards off Chulane.
Right. You also don't want to play a lot of spells.
Yeah, exactly. You want to play very few spells because you want everything to synergize well with Chulane.
Yep.
Some of the things, so like you want all your removal and your answers, if you can, to be stapled to your creatures. The precon deck gives you some of that. And you want your lands to cast as many of your spells as possible. So I left a lot of like the tap lands in here just because I need them to cast spells.
Yeah, you got to leave your options open.
And I also was able to put a few utility lands in because you're going to have a lot of land. So having a castle or 2 is going to give you a little more flexibility than if it was just an island or a forest.
Right.
So when you buy the deck, what are the things you're going to get that are kind of notable?
Well, you're going to get Chulane,
yes.
which I don't know how much he's dropped recently, but like leading up to the release of the Brawl decks, he was like $20 by himself.
Yeah, I think that they're like 12 to 15 right now.
Like we said, you're also going to get a shock land in each one.
Yeah, so this one's Hallowed Fountain.
Yep.
And it was like $6 or $7.
Yep, definitely something to keep your eye on. You're going to get the Arcane Signet, which is the mana rock. There's going to be 1 in each of these decks.
Yeah, and if you're a commander player, this is going to just be the best mana rock, not named Soul Ring, and Commander.
Right.
Going forward.
Yeah, these were $20-something leading up to the release. I think they're like 10 or 15 right now.
Yeah, I was trading them for 8 to 10.
Yeah.
So
Steelbane Hydra.
Yeah.
That's one of the ones that was just in this deck, right? That's the turtle
yes.
Hydra.
X green for and you put X +1/+1 counters on it, and then you pay 2 and a green, and you can and remove a counter, and you can destroy an artifact or enchantment.
Okay.
So it gives you a way to deal with opposing just annoying things.
Yeah. And then you have Fairy Formation.
Yes, which is 4 and a blue for a 5/4 flying creature.
Yep.
That has 3 and a blue. Draw a card, make a 1/1 fairy.
Yep. So those are kind of like the notable inclusions for this deck. Cards that are either worth money or you can only get in this deck.
Yeah. I think that both green decks have Thorn Mammoth.
Yeah.
That's 5 green for a 7/7. And whenever Thorn Mammoth or
6/6.
6/6?
Yeah.
A big.
Yep.
Whenever Thorn Mammoth or another creature comes on the battlefield, you can have Thorn Mammoth fight something that your opponent controls.
Yep.
So it's just removal
on a creature.
A lot of these decks kind of had 2 themes going on in them. In this one, I kind of think the second theme wasn't as clearly defined as it was in a lot of them.
Yeah.
But it was kind of a not ramp, but like there was like a +1/+1 counter synergy thing.
Kind of odd. It didn't really fit super well.
There were a few adapt creatures.
Yeah.
And like Biomancer's Familiar that makes adapting cheaper and whatnot. Yeah. I think for all of these decks, we kind of cut that like B plan that the deck had and leaned more heavily into the A plan.
Yeah.
And so the A plan, like I said, is playing creatures that do something when they come in. So I made a lot of changes. Like 25.
Yeah.
I went super hard. We'll put a list. We'll put a link to the actual list.
Yeah. I built all of our changed lists on Goldfish, so you can follow those links. I'm sure they'll be in the description somewhere.
So kind of the big thing that I tried to do was, again, like lean into the ETB effects thing. So a thing that when playing it on Arena that I noticed, it was really lacking removal.
Yeah.
And so the removal that you can get as ETBs are things like Voracious Hydra, right? It comes in and it fights something. Wicked Wolf comes in and it fights something. Tulsamir comes in and fights something. So you have these ways to deal with opposing creatures with your creatures.
Yep.
Right? And then you can rebuy them with Chulane. I put in a little more answers to general things. Knight of Autumn as just like a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, utility creature.
Yeah, and Deputy of Detention as a way to deal with problematic permanents. Put in a few Planeswalkers. I think there are only 6 or 7 non-creature spells in the deck.
Yeah.
One is Teferi Time Raveler. That gives you with Chulane another way to rebuy your Enter the Battlefield abilities. Oko, because Oko's busted.
Oko's great.
And then Vivian, Champion of the Wilds.
Yeah.
With her plus as you look at her minus. One of them.
Yeah, the minuses. Look at the top. Or you get to exile 1 and cast it
at instant speed. Yeah. That's just another way to draw more creatures.
Yeah. She also gives all your creatures flash, which is awesome in this deck because you get to play on your opponent's turn.
Yeah, and so she draws you creatures, lets you play them in instant speed, and now your Knight of Autumn is an instant speed disenchant that also is a 2/1 blocker.
Right.
And then Nissa Who Shakes the World because you need more mana.
Yeah.
Hybrid Crisis because you're not going to draw enough cards.
Right.
And then to kind of complement Chulane, there's Beast Whisperer.
Kind of does the same thing.
Yeah, when you cast a creature, draw a card. And then the Great Henge.
It's great.
It's great. We put in like a bunch of creatures that did something when they came in.
Yeah.
And then in the lands, I kept all like the tap like so duels. But there's a breeding pool, a temple garden as additional shocks.
Yep.
The blue and the green castle.
Makes sense.
Both I think work fine. The green castle ramps you. The blue castle lets you dig to.
Yeah, let's just set up your draws off of Chulane.
And then I think that a general inclusion for a lot of these decks is just going to be the random one of Field of the Dead.
Yeah.
Just because, why not? Like, if you draw Field of the Dead and you just start making zombies, seems good.
It makes sense because, like, your lands have the same deck building restriction where you can only have one of a land. So you're just naturally going to get to, 7 different lands.
Yeah. So there are 3 different cards in this deck that reward you for casting creatures.
Yeah.
The Chulane, Beast Whisperer, and the Great Henge. So you just want to cast creatures and draw a bunch of cards. And drawing cards is fun.
It is fun.
I think the main drawback to the way I have it built right now is you might be a little soft to opposing Planeswalkers. You don't have a lot of ways to interact. So, maybe the Prison Realm that I cut, if the people you play with are playing a bunch of Planeswalkers, you bring your Prison Realm back in.
Yeah.
And I did cut the big pig.
The big pig.
Oink, oink.
Yeah.
And maybe if you find yourself getting into a bunch of board stalls, that might be a card to bring back in.
Just as a way to break through.
Mm-hmm. Just as a way to just make a big, like, alpha strike.
Yeah.
Maybe I have it like an agent of treachery. Maybe you don't want to steal their thing. Maybe you just want to, like, smush them.
Yeah.
So.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So those are some things that, like, and you have those cards. So, like, if you have it half our list built and you're like, you know what, I like the pig. I'm not going to take the pig out. Don't take the pig out.
Yeah,
It's
leave
fine.
the pig.
I think that's most of Chulane. Like I said, there are like 20-something cuts.
Yeah.
I went super hard.
Yeah, there's no reason to go through each one individually. Yeah. You kind of got the gist of what we were trying to do.
Yeah.
And if you want to see the rest of them, please check out the list.
Yeah. So, like I said, if you think of a creature that you're like, oh, when this comes into play, it does something cool. Yeah, you probably want to play that.
Yeah, play it.
Yeah, if I miss something, just play that.
Yeah, let us know. So the next one, Korvold, the fake cursed king.
That's right.
It's my Jundy boy.
It is the Jundy boy, yes.
Yep. He is definitely a sack and value engine.
That's right.
Those are things that are very Jund-like.
Yes.
He plays a great, like, mid-range grindy game. He's not going to be the beatdown deck. He's not going to be the control deck, but he is going to grind you into dust.
Yes. So what does the Jundy boy do?
It's 2 in Jund for a 5/5 flyer, and when it enters the battlefield or attacks, you have to sacrifice a permanent.
Mm-hmm.
When you do, he gets a +1/+1 counter, and you draw a card.
So for the uninitiated, what is Jund?
Jund is green, black, and red.
There we go.
Yep.
So
the best colors.
The best colors?
The best colors.
So yeah, in like being a big flyer does give you an advantage over some of the decks.
Yeah, and he can get big quick. It's whenever you sacrifice anything, he gets a counter and you draw a card.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be just to his ability.
Yeah, it can just be anything.
Yeah, it can just be anything.
Witch's Oven? There you go.
Sure.
Get a counter draw card.
Yep. Fabled Passage, Evolving Wilds.
There you go.
Food.
Food.
Yeah, he gets big.
Yes.
So notable includes in this deck are obviously Korvold.
Yep.
Again, he was $20-something leading up to release. Almost the cost of the deck by himself. I'm sure he's come down some.
Yeah.
The Arcane Signet, just like all the other decks. And the shock land in this one is Stomping Ground.
Yeah. So they're all solid. What was the other? So this has Thorn Mammoth. Was there another like exclusive card?
Yeah, this has Taste of Death.
Taste of Death.
It's 4 black. Each player sacrifices 3 creatures.
Yeah.
And you make 3 food.
There you go.
It also has the Gluttonous Troll.
Oh, yeah, the multiplayer card.
Yeah. It also has Chittering Witch, which is another multiplayer card. Yeah. I don't know exactly what I don't remember
Chittering
exactly
Witch
what they do.
comes in and
makes
makes
a rat for
rats,
each opponent.
Yeah, for equal to each opponent. And Gluttonous Troll comes in and makes a food for each opponent. And you can like sack a food and give it like +2/+1.
Yeah, maybe.
Something like that.
So the first thing I did with this deck is kind of the same thing I did with all the decks, is I tweaked the mana base.
Okay.
Made it just a little bit better. I pulled out all 3 of the guild gates, because guild gates are just kind of do nothing. This deck doesn't have the same problem that Chulane did, where you have to worry about casting all of your spells all of the time. You can kind of set your turns up in advance and not really worry about it.
Yeah.
So it's not as critical that you have all of the colors open all of the time. You can kind of plan your turns out. So I got rid of all 3 guild gates, and I put in the other 2 shock lands.
Yep.
The Blood Crypt and Overgrown Tomb, and then added a Fabled Passage.
Yes.
Next, I kind of tweaked the removal a little bit. I really didn't like the Taste of Death, the sacrifice, whatever. All of the precons kind of have like a little tokeny to them.
Yeah.
Where like an edict effect isn't super relevant.
Yeah, this is true.
So I got rid of that, and I got rid of Bake into Pie, because that's just kind of inefficient removal.
It is.
4 mana's, whatever. There's much better that we can do. So I added Spark Harvest.
Yes.
Which is a 1 mana removal spell that hits creatures and planeswalkers, but you have to sacrifice a creature.
Which plays in well with Korvold's
ability. That's what you want to do anyway, sacrifice
That was a
creatures.
card that when I was playing on Arena, I was like, why can't I just have Spark Harvest in this deck? This seems like it would be better.
Yeah, and I also added Bedevil.
Which is just good and flexible removal.
Yep, best removal in the colors. After that, I kind of tweaked the value engines a little bit. I got rid of Keeper of Fables. That's not super relevant in the deck.
Yeah. You have enough ways to draw cards.
Yeah, you're not really leaning on that.
And like your major evasive flying threat is a giant like dragon that's like an 8/8 when you decide to attack with it.
I got rid of Orzhov Enforcer because I'm adding cards that kind of do a better Orzhov Enforcer impression. And I got rid of Angrath, Captain of Chaos.
Yeah.
Him like making or amassing twice is just kind of whatever.
It's not great.
And you have enough effects where you're not really worried about the menace.
Okay.
So I added in the new Garrick, Cursed Huntsman. Turns out sacking the wolves is great because it just bumps his loyalty through the roof. It's
very good. I won 2 pre-releases on Sack My Wolves, Ultimate My Garrick.
Yeah, pretty good. I added Liliana Dreadhorde General, another card draw engine. When you're sacrificing your stuff, you get to draw cards.
It's like Taste of Death. It's the same cost and does way more.
Sticks around and makes zombies and then ultimates and like wins the game on the spot.
There you go.
And then I added Vraska Golgari Queen.
Yes.
Again, playing into the sacrifice thing. She's removal. She's sacrifice.
Yeah, so it does everything the deck wants to do.
Yeah. I also tweaked the ramp just a little bit. I cut the Paradise Druid. You could very easily keep the Paradise Druid. That's a fine card. It fixes your mana. It's hard to interact with. Like, you can almost guarantee to start your next turn with it. But I thought Gilded Goose was just a touch better.
Yeah.
Because of the sack theme. Gilded Goose, you have to eat a food in order for it to make mana. So you tap Gilded Goose, fix your mana, ramp you, draw a card, put a counter on Korvold. Seems great. Yeah. And the rest, like, I just kind of rounded the package out. I wanted Elvish Reclaimer with a little bit of a, like a lands package.
Yeah.
Again, to play into the sacrifice thing, fix your mana, whatever. So I wanted Elvish Reclaimer, Blast Zone, and Field of the Dead.
Yep.
Chandra, Alkalite of Flame, is awesome all by herself. Like, she makes elementals that sack
and
themselves.
They sack themselves, yeah.
Yeah, that card's just fantastic. It's everything this deck wants to do. Legion Warboss is kind of a neat combo with Korvold also, because the Goblin enters the battlefield before Korvold's trigger goes on.
Okay.
So you can sacrifice the Goblin that entered the battlefield to Korvold, draw a card. And then I thought Blood for Bones and Cavalier of Night both also play into the sacrifice thing and let you like rebuy stuff out of your graveyard.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. And then I really like Rankle.
Okay.
It's also kind of everything that Jund wants to do.
Yes.
It's like all of the modes of Lily that's standard legal in Jund.
Yes.
So Rankle makes the cut. And then, like we said with Chulane, this one also had some like filler secondary themes. Like it had a +1/+1 counter theme kind of going on. Woodland Champion, Pollenbright Druid, and Goblin Crater Maker just kind of seemed like filler cards that didn't super fit.
Yeah.
Evolution Sage also. We did add a bunch of Planeswalkers, so I could see keeping Evolution Sage. But I don't think it's really like what the deck's trying to do. And then I cut Blood-Soaked Altar and the Dragon that makes treasures.
Yeah, I liked him though, but yeah.
Well, I think we just put more powerful versions of the same cards in. And then, like I said, I wanted a little bit of a lands package. And we went way heavier into black than we did the other colors. So I cut a forest and a mountain for the 2 lands I wanted.
Yeah. So this seems all reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
Fun trick if you play your Korvold or you attack with it, especially when you play him, if you hold control or you hold priority, you have a Witch's Oven, you can sack a creature that you're going to sack to Korvold.
And then sack the food.
And draw 2 cards.
Get 2 counters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty sweet.
So, little things in life.
Yep, sweet tech.
Yeah, this deck was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Like, you got to feel smart as you, like, sacrifice creatures and, like, drew extra cards.
Yeah.
And, like, you could get out of weird spots with it.
Yeah, this deck is super toolboxy, and it basically has a line to get you out of any situation.
Yeah. Did Murderous Rider not find his way in here?
He didn't.
He's sad.
I know.
He wishes he was in here.
It was on my big list, but I couldn't find room for him. I liked everything else that was going on.
So if you love Murderous Rider more than James does, put it in your deck.
I love Murderous Rider. I bought 3 foil showcase copies.
So did I, but I'm hoping to sell those. I think that is all of Korvold, right?
That is all of Korvold.
Next up is Esper and Alela, Artful Provocateur.
Yeah, so what's Alela do?
She's the cheapest of the commanders.
She is.
In terms of casting cost.
Right.
She might be the most expensive in terms of dollar cost.
Yeah, I think so.
She is 1 in Esper, so blue, white, black. For a 2/3 flying death touch. Lifelink.
Yep.
Whenever you cast an artifact or enchantment spell, you make a 1/1 fairy with flying.
Yeah.
And all your flyers get +1/+0.
A lot of text on that one.
There's a lot of text on that one.
Yep. So what's Alela trying to do?
She's a little more controlling.
Yeah.
She wants to play a game where she's using enchantment-based removal and artifact-based removal to manage your board while making kind of an army of flyers.
Yep.
And then just use those bunch of 2-power flyers to just get there. It's almost like a tempo control kind of game.
Yeah. She also does a really good job at stabilizing the game when she comes down because she has Death Touch and Lifelink.
Yeah.
So
she is weak to just removal like they all are, but you can set it up where if your turn 5 play is Alela plus Witching Well,
at least you get some kind of value out of it.
This deck has the artifact and enchantment theme, and it also has a flyers theme.
Right.
So it's kind of trying to do both things. I think the problem with Alela is if you draw the flyers half of your deck,
Mm-hmm.
your commander does almost nothing.
Right.
And if you draw the artifact and enchantment side of your deck, it does a whole lot.
Yeah, it
So-
definitely goes off.
Yeah.
I think it goes off as well as a couple of the other ones, Chulane and Korvold,
Yeah.
as long as it draws the right pieces. This one's more susceptible to not drawing the right pieces. So in this deck, you get Alela,
Yes, you do.
which was like $25 leading up to release.
There are thoughts of her being playable in the Esper Dance list as a sideboard juke.
Okay.
So you're playing all these eggs, and then you play Alela,
Oh,
and you
man.
start generating value
Yeah,
that way.
sounds great. She's on cast, though, not ETB, right?
Think she's on cast, but not
Yeah.
100% sure. But at least it gives you a way to, if they unmoored ego your Dance of the Mance,
Yeah.
you then can just play your eggs and get a bunch of 2-power flyers and
Yeah.
win the game that way.
It seems pretty good. You also get a Shimmer Dragon, which is also like $15.
Yeah,
It's 4 blue, I think,
Mhm.
for a 6/6
something like that flyer.
flyer.
You control 4 artifacts against hexproof.
Yep. And if you tap 2 untapped artifacts, you draw a card.
Yeah, the card's like bonkers.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Especially when the game's a little bit slower, like Commander or Brawl is going to be.
Yeah, you're just going to get a bunch of extra cards.
Yeah. It has an Arcane Signet, like they all do.
Yep.
This one also has a Smothering Tithe.
Which is like apparently Commander All-Star.
EDH staple, yeah, it's a $10 card.
Yeah.
Still $10 card. And like the rest of them, it comes with a shock land. This one has Watery Grave.
Yep.
Like the others, we kind of worked on the mana base a little bit. We cut the guild gates and added in shock lands and a Fabled Passage.
Yeah.
I think that's the easiest mana base upgrade you can do. And then we added in a card that I thought was super sweet in this deck, Divine Visitation.
Yes. Yes, so that is 3 white for a mythic enchantment.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you would make a token, make it a 4/4 angel instead.
So it's
So-
5/4 with a Alela out.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like if it's on cast, yes, you have to wait a turn, but like
Yeah.
Alela into that.
Yeah.
And then you just start making giant things and win the game.
Yeah, sounds awesome. I thought Ethereal Absolution might be neat in this deck too.
Yeah.
Just as a way to kind of make your little guys more relevant.
And it gives you a way to like make guys.
Right. Yep. When the game goes long, it gives you a way to make guys. Corpse Knight, I thought was super cute.
Yeah.
Just as a way to, control your opponent's life total a little bit while you're making your guys. And then some enchantment-based removal.
Yeah.
Pacifism, Kesmina's Transmutation.
There's also a few other things you could play. You could play Trapped in a Tower.
Yep.
As another thing.
That one didn't make the cut when I was building the deck.
Yeah.
Just because there's so many relevant flyers.
Yeah, this is true. Like we said, we left the kind of the flyers package, which is Sephora
Mhm.
and Imperial. What's the eagle? The 2/3.
Oh,
One
the buffs
blue-
your flyers.
Yeah. So we left those in. You could try to lean harder into artifacts and enchantments.
Yeah, I mean, I think those flyers are fine. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's like they're kind of self-contained. Like if you have some fairies
Mhm.
out, you can still make the angel.
You can still do it, yeah.
And like pumping your flyers is also just kind of fine.
Yeah.
It's not like you were leaning into another something else your deck is trying to do, like the +1/+1 counter thing.
Yeah. So when you go to build your deck, when you open it up, you might want to just look at everything that's not an artifact or enchantment and
Mhm.
think, is there an artifact or enchantment
That does this.
that does this or could be a little bit better here?
Yeah.
Just to maximize your commander.
Yeah. I also laughed out the new, was it Glass Casket? The
Oh,
new
Glass
O-ring,
Casket's not in
whatever.
there?
No.
Okay.
Oh, actually, I
It
think
might
that's
be in the
probably
deck.
in
It's
the
in the deck,
actual
I
deck.
think.
Yeah. All right. That makes more sense why it's not on my list.
Yes. So it's already there.
Yep.
But yeah, so look at like artifacts and enchantments that are going to get you value.
Yep.
This deck plays out a little weird. Sometimes it plays out more controlling. It
Yeah.
has a Kaya's Wrath.
Yeah.
And then other times it kind of plays out where you almost cheese them out of the game. You
Right.
like Alela make like 4 flyers and kill them in 2 turns.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird how it plays out.
Also, because there's so many keywords on her, she can like almost play a Voltron game too, where you just put a bunch of pants on her and send her in.
I mean, I lost a few to All That Glitters.
Yeah, me too.
All That Glitters is 1 on the white for an enchantment. Your creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact or enchantment you control.
Yeah. And she's got lifelink, so you're talking, a 20-point life swing.
Yeah, so the deck does a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm. It's not really my play style. It does lean a little bit more control-y, and I don't know that it's as powerful as Korvold or Chulane is.
Yeah, I think the big difference between her as a commander and them is they both say draw a card.
Right.
And she doesn't.
Right.
And depending on the board state, a 2/1 flyer might not be a card.
Yeah, it's probably not relevant.
Where everyone else is getting you a card and getting you deeper.
Yeah.
Sometimes she just doesn't do that.
Yeah. So I think that's about it for Alela, right?
Yeah, I think so. Next up is the Mardu commander,
Mm-hmm.
affectionately known as Mardudu.
Mardudu.
Is Syr Gwen, hero of Ashvale.
Ashvale, yep.
This is the most expensive in terms of CMC commander out of the bunch.
Yep.
Which is a problem.
For an aggro deck, yeah, that's kind of a problem. Especially since this deck definitely wants to be the beatdown deck.
If you watch any of our other videos, we were able to tell you all the stuff on the commander from memory.
I can get through most of this one, I think.
Okay, let's go here.
It's 3 in Mardu, so black, red, white.
Okay.
It's a 5/5.
Okay.
It has a keyword.
I think it's vigilance.
It probably is. It is vigilance, yeah.
Okay.
Whenever a knight you control attacks, you lose a life draw card.
I thought it had to have an equipment on it. That was like
an equipped knight, yeah. Whenever an equipped knight attacks, lose a life draw card. And equip costs 3 less.
Or is it 0?
Oh yeah, knights? No, this one's free. Equip to knights is free.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
we got there.
Yeah, Syr Gwen is the aggro deck out of the 3.
Yeah.
Its big thing is much like Alela, where it has to draw the right side of its deck.
Right.
This also has to draw the right side of its deck. If it draws a bunch of creatures and no enchantments,
equipment.
Equipment.
Yeah.
Gwen doesn't do a whole lot.
Doesn't do hardly anything.
If you draw a bunch of equipments and no creatures, you're probably dead before you get to play your Gwen and like throw all your sweet equipment on it.
Yeah, probably.
So it is kind of like fighting for what it wants to do. Like you can just have hands that end up being non-functional.
You can also just kill people out of nowhere too. Like, I mean, if your hand is, a bunch of little guys and like the Colossus Hammer.
Yeah.
You're just like, well, time for you, buddy. Go to town.
And you just smash. Yeah.
Yeah.
What you get in the deck that's notable is you get Syr Gwen. You get Knight of the Ebon Legion.
Which just spiked. It's like a $9 card or whatever.
Yep. You get, again, another Arcane Signet.
Yep.
You get a Knight's Charge, which is, it brings back knights from your graveyard to the battlefield.
It's a 1 white-black.
Okay.
It drains for 1 when you attack.
Okay.
And you can pay like 7 mana to return all knights from your graveyard to the battlefield.
Okay.
That card is... There's a lot of hype for it in like EDH in general.
Gotcha.
So that card's kind of expensive too.
Okay. And then there's a Godless Shrine as the shock.
Yep, the shock for this one.
Same kind of thing that you did last time?
Yep.
Swapped out the Guild Gates for Shocklands and a Temple?
Fable Passage.
Fable Passage. Okay.
Yep. We also added in Embercleave, which is great in this deck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Flash in your Embercleave.
Win the game.
Also, this deck probably wants Circle of Loyalty.
Yes.
It's really good in here. You have a bunch of knights, so it's going to be super cheap.
And just make all of them bigger.
Yeah, makes them all bigger. You can make a bunch more knights. We added in a little bit of removal with Lava Coil and Bedevil.
Yep.
Kind of cards that don't really cost a whole lot of mana, so you don't mind throwing them in. You can still do that and your Knight's thing on the same turn. We added in a Cavalier Flame as a way to cheese out some wins, pump your team, win the game. Also a Judith for the same reason.
Yeah, just pump the team.
Yep, Anthem effect, and then if somebody wants to get into combat with you, all your stuff dies, and Judith shoots things to death. And then added a Revival Revenge. Now that we're sitting here doing this episode, I don't remember what this card does.
It's a split card.
It's the Orzhov split card.
It's the Orzhov split card. Like the 4 black-white side, like your opponent loses 10 life and you gain 10 life or something.
Okay. Oh, and the other side is like Mini Sun Titan, right? Return a creature CMC 3 or less.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we got there. Yeah, and then we cut some stuff that wasn't super great. The Filemire Knight is great and constructed, but probably not fantastic in this deck.
Yeah.
The Fireborn Knight, same thing. It just
doesn't seem great anyway.
The hybrid red-white Knight.
Yes.
You're not really going to have a bunch of mana to dump into the thing, and like Embercleave gives one of your other guys double strike anyway.
Yeah.
Obnyx's Cruelty isn't a great removal spell. Kind of replace that with Lava Coil. Does a lot more for cheaper.
So we took out Bond of Discipline.
Yeah, that's the tap the team.
Give your creatures lifelink.
Yeah, like for 5 mana. That's not where you want to be.
Crystal Slipper, which is the one that gives haste.
And +1/+0.
The only thing I will say is being able to give your Gwen haste when she comes out is the only time that card was good.
Yeah.
Shining Armor, though. I guess memeable because you have a knight in shining armor.
It's definitely on theme.
Ooh.
Not a very good card though.
Yeah, Gives my knight +0/+2.
And vigilance, right?
Yeah, woohoo. Yeah.
Doesn't do enough.
No.
Got the axe.
And then integrity intervention.
Yeah.
Which is like kind of an overcosted pump spell and removal spell.
Yeah, it's not really where you want to be.
Yeah. This one has the most room to be like improved because it just didn't feel great.
Yeah, I almost feel like this one is going to get pieces in subsequent sets because it felt the least fleshed out.
Yeah, like Commander and Brawl both don't strike me as like super aggressive formats.
Yeah.
I don't know, that's because everyone just is like made like an armistice and like we're not going to do anything until turn 6.
Yeah.
Or what, but it just doesn't seem like it's not a format you want to go like 1 drop, 2 drop, 3 drop. It just doesn't seem like that's what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's 1 drop, 2 drop equipment, spend your 3rd turn equipping said equipment.
Yeah.
That just seems like it feels awful.
Yeah.
And they're just like, kill it. And you just like
lost your turn.
Yeah,
and you got time walked.
Okay, your turn.
Yep.
Right. So yeah, it just doesn't feel like it meshes well with the rest of the format.
Yeah. Like I said, though, I wouldn't be surprised if the subsequent set and standard kind of finished this deck
There
out.
was like an extra knight randomly that was really good.
Or some good equipment
yeah. I mean, Elspeth needs a spear or something, doesn't she?
She does, yeah.
So there we go.
Yep, and we also got, we're going back to like Adventureland Zendikar, so I'm sure we'll have some
cool things to find.
Yeah, some sweet battle axes and such.
There we go. So in a year, could be sweet.
Could be for a couple months.
Could
be sweet for a couple months.
So I think that's the last of our Brawl decks.
Yeah, sorry we didn't have a whole lot to add to Alela and Syr Gwen here.
Yeah.
I just don't think that there was as much you could do with them as there was Chulane and Korvold.
Yeah. Chulane's just like creatures with stuff stapled onto them. Oh, that's all wait for it in standard?
Yeah.
Sweet. So before we moved on, we wanted to take a second and just kind of talk about our impressions on how these decks played against each other.
Yeah, we did get to spend a little bit of time with them during the Arena Brawl event.
Yeah. I kind of felt like there were times where the decks, depending on the draws, really felt like one deck was favored against another.
Yeah.
So like Chulane and Korvold and Alela, since they have a bunch of flyers, that was hard for the Chulane deck to deal with because a bunch of big dumb green idiots that don't jump very well.
Right.
They just kind of
like the deck doesn't have a ton of great removal.
Yeah. So like those decks were like hard for Chulane because like Alela would remove something, get a flyer, and then it would just be like a race of like, okay, I'm gonna like 4 you or play another removal spell and 6 you for 3 turns and then you die.
Yeah.
That didn't always feel great. And how did Korvold feel against like the other decks? Because he played that a lot.
I think Chulane was probably the toughest just because it could keep up with the value game.
Yeah.
It really did not care about anything that the Knights deck did.
No.
You're just going so far over the top of it that it's not close.
Sometimes the Knight deck didn't do anything.
Right. Yeah, just nothing.
Yeah. We are super down on the Knights deck.
If you can't tell.
Yeah.
But like against Alela, it was fine.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I was a dog in the matchup at all. But Alela can certainly have some powerful draws that kind of put you on the back foot also.
Yeah, the thing with Alela is she was the cheapest, but I think was most integral to the deck actually working.
Yeah.
And so like Alela, and then you like cast a removal spell, and then 2 turns later they cast Alela again and you remove it again.
Yeah.
They're so far behind because the 1/1s don't matter against giant flying dragon dinosaur monster.
They just eat them.
Yeah.
Nom.
So like just a couple well-timed removal spells kind of would put the deck back, and then they were just kind of spinning their wheels until they got enough mana to cast Alela again to actually do something.
Yeah. So if you're playing these like in a pod with each other, kind of be cognizant of that, where some of the decks have a better matchup against a specific deck.
Yeah. So I can't speak to our changes because they haven't put Brawl on Arena.
Right.
And I think the decks have been out for like 3 days.
Yeah.
So it's not like we've been like playing a bunch of Brawl.
Yeah, I spent the entire weekend doing this episode, so I have not had a chance to play with them yet.
Yeah, but at least the stock lists were kind of how the matchups felt.
Yeah.
And the Knights deck can win that usually involve like cheesing someone out with like, you know, a creature with a giant set of equipment on it.
Right.
But
I mean, Syr Gwen is powerful by itself too.
Yeah. Just feel like they made it cost one mana too much. It was like
it's really weird that this is supposed to be the beatdown deck and it's the most expensive one.
Yeah. Like if it was like 5 mana instead of 6, it'd probably be better.
Yeah, or like if it was, a 4 mana, like 2/2 or 3/3.
Yeah.
Like that's still fine and a lot more playable, I think.
Yes. So that's how they're gonna play out.
Yeah, and just keep in mind, like, these decks aren't the end all be all either. Brawl's thing is that Planeswalkers can be your commanders also. So you can build you can build an Oko deck, you can build a Garruk deck. Was that the big pig coming out there?
No, just like, hey, do you want everyone to hate you? Like, turn 2 Oko is my commander. Make a food, steal your thing next turn. Hey, he's got like 9 loyalty. Good luck.
Yeah. Well, I mean, traditionally, like, Planeswalkers haven't been great commanders because they don't, like, they affect the board, but they don't really progress you towards winning.
Yeah.
And especially in multiplayer, like, the effects are a lot more toned down.
Yeah.
So I really don't know how an Oko deck would play out.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting.
Yeah, I think, like, heads up, it just seems like, oof.
Yeah, in a 1v1, it'd be tough.
Like, oh, I killed your Oko. Okay, cool. Bring it back next turn. Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, God.
So, yeah, I mean, you can use any of the Planeswalkers as your commander. There are a bunch of legendary creatures. We just got a legendary uncommon Night Cycle. We got triple on color, Lord Cycle.
The M20 gave us, in the regular set, gave us 1 3-colored legend.
Yep.
And then the Buy a Box promo was the Naya 3-colored legend. So they basically have all 10. Is it 10? Yeah. They have 10 3-color legends in standard right now.
Yep.
So you can kind of do whatever you want.
Yep. There's also 2 5-color legends.
Yeah, Golos and Kenrith.
Yep.
Golos is marching his way up in price. You might want to get it on the ground floor.
Oh, I got it on that ground floor.
The same with Kenrith. Kenrith might have already spiked though.
Yeah, he did.
And I wonder why he spiked. That could be our next topic.
It might be.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
There we go.
Coming next.
Ooh, teaser. All right. So, we've talked Brawl.
Yep. We've
talked MTG Golos Finance. And so we're going to talk about Standard briefly.
Yeah. We had an event over the weekend.
Yes.
SCG Philly was team trios.
Yeah. This isn't always the greatest data for figuring out Standard because you don't know if, in the words of Anthony, if the Standard player was backpacked like Dora the Explorer.
Boy, now that's an image I can't get out of my head.
Yeah.
Just hitting him with a piece of rolled up newspaper.
That's right.
Bad, Anthony, bad.
We almost cashed that event. Thank you very much. My methods, while unconventional, work. So you don't really know if the reason that the standard decks are there is because they were really good standard decks or because the other 2 seats were really good.
Yeah.
There's a clear takeaway from this weekend.
100%. I don't believe that was the case for this event.
No, maybe for some of the other decks, but not for Golos.
Yeah.
It's Golos' world, and we're just trying to kill zombies in it.
Yeah, we are just here along for the ride, trying not to get run over.
There were, I think, 28 decks in day 2.
Yeah, which doesn't seem like a lot, but remember it was a team event?
Yeah.
So 28 players is really 100 players or whatever. Not quite
84.
Players. Yeah.
Yeah. There were 28 day 2 decks. 13 of them were Bant Golos. And there was one dude kicking it with Sultai Golos.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I didn't see it, but there was a list that was listed differently that was Golos Fires. Okay. So there might have been 15 out of the 28 decks featured Golos.
That is absolutely insane for a release weekend event.
Yeah, it is. I've not ever seen something like this where so many decks were the same. Like, you might see 3 decks in the top 8 of a regular event because, a team worked together.
Mm-hmm.
And they broke it and they found the right deck for the weekend.
Right.
But to have half of day 2 have the same the same 35 to 40 cards, maybe more.
Probably more.
Right? Is crazy.
A notable omission from the day 2 metagame is the deck that traditionally wins.
Oh yeah, Mono Red.
Mono Red was nowhere to be seen.
Not around.
Yeah.
My experience playing the Bant Golos side is against Mono Red, they really they have 4 turns to kill you.
Yeah.
And if they don't kill you on turn 4, you just do something that is unwinnable for them.
Yeah. And I think the current version of Mono Red has slowed down a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, it has to. Yeah. Just because there's less tools to work with.
Right.
So you have 2 gates out and you've ramped and your turn 4 is Golos, get a Plaza of Harmony, gain 3 life.
Yeah.
They can never kill the Golos and you gained 3 life.
Right. You put them down a card.
And then you're like, circuitous route, make a bunch of zombies the next turn. They can never attack you.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah. It just kind of goes so big. You have like a very small window to get to them as mono red.
Right.
This is definitely different. This, I think, might be the most striking example of how Arena has impacted like modern Magic.
Yeah, we were talking about this before the episode.
Yeah, you wouldn't get to this deck normally,
right,
until a few weeks into the tournament, into the season,
or even like closer to the end of the season.
Yeah, so right after release, Dance of the Mance, Andrei Strosky was like best deck.
Yeah,
Brian Gottlieb won the fandom tournament with it.
Right.
3 days later, he was like Golos time.
Yep,
won the tournament with it, and it's just been Golos's. Feels like forever. It's just been a week. It's just been a week of Golos everywhere.
A week.
But Golos is just everywhere.
Yep.
We are now to the point in Standard a week in. Not even a week in. We're like 4 days into officially into like real Standard, where the format has to like answer Golos or fold to it.
Yeah.
I came up with some things that might be able to answer Golos.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm right. The first is Blue-Green Flash.
Okay. This is a deck that's been around for a little bit, right?
I have written here Vomit. I hate that deck.
So do I.
Basically, its entire thing is to play some garbage creatures at instant speed.
Yeah.
And then just counter everything.
Yeah.
Which is fine, except like if your Bant Golos player plays a Teferi, then your deck doesn't do anything.
You're not countering anything anymore.
And if they stick a Field of the Dead, they can just make enough blockers.
Yeah. Where it doesn't matter.
Yeah, where they and then run you out of like counter spells.
Yeah.
But if they can't, the Golos decks are like playing 4 mana sorceries and 5 mana creatures.
Yeah.
And if you get to counter them, you get enough tempo that you can sneak out games.
You just got to stay on the front foot.
Yeah. And if you get on the back foot, like it just kind of all falls apart.
Yeah.
But whenever I play the Golos side, I just do not resolve spells.
Right.
Like they just always have 5 counter spells and a Brineborn Cutthroat, and you're just like, oh.
Yep. Good job, buddy.
Yeah, you're a genius. So you have that. A deck that just happened today.
Yeah.
On the internet.
I actually saw this video and meant to talk to you about it, and you
I
beat
put
me
it
to
I
it.
put it in the notes.
Yeah.
It's Mr. Magic AIDS.
Yeah.
He's a little weird.
He's a little weird and has some questionable content. So maybe Brian will post a list on Twitter.
Maybe.
Check it out there.
Yeah. He's not family friendly.
He is not family friendly.
But his claim to fame is like a year and a half ago. He built Modern Humans.
Right.
And I think that the deck that won the SCG that like week was like 4 lands different than his original list.
Yeah.
So that is his claim to fame. But he had a blue-red kind of tempo deck that was kind of the blue-green deck where it's just like a pile of counter spells, Brazen Borrowers, and Bone Crusher Giants.
Yep.
And just tried to counter all of this stuff from Golos.
Yeah.
And have a little bit of removal and interaction for everything else. Now, the video was only like 5 matches or 4.
I think it was only 2 games, right? Or was it a whole league? I didn't even think it was a whole league.
It was only like 12 minutes long.
Yeah.
Right. It's a very small sample.
Yeah.
It looked really good against the Golos deck that it played. But I don't know how much game it has against the other decks in the format.
Yeah.
Right. And I've not, same with like blue green. Like I've not played the Simic deck.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Right. So I don't know like how they do against those Simic decks. I don't know. And then there could be some sort of like thought erasures interaction.
Yeah, but not like in a control shell.
No,
right? You're talking more like a mid range, like where you can apply
like,
pressure.
Yeah, because it's the control decks just fold to field.
Yeah.
Right. They're like, cool. You're like, play my land, get a 2/2.
Yeah.
Answer my 2/2. Play my land, get a 2/2. And you just run them out of answers after a while.
Yeah.
But like in a tempo or like aggro-y mid-range kind of shell, where you have thought erasure is interaction, and then I kind of will smush this with the other thing I had on here, like flyers.
Yeah.
Right? Because you can't really attack on the ground against Golos.
Right. It just gets gummed up too easy.
So things like Brazen Borrower, Spawn of Mayhem, or Rankle.
I think Rankle's great here because it keeps them off of volume of cards too.
Yeah,
which is
you just have them
important to the
discard.
deck.
right? So you can like the idea being like maybe you thought erasure them, sneak in like a counter spell or some sort of cheap interaction, and then you stick a Brazen Borrower, and you're like, okay, I'm going to try to ride this 3-1 out for a few turns, and then get there that way.
This deck could run Thief of Sanity too.
Oh, forgot about that card. That is a card that still exists in this format.
It is a card that still exists.
And was just backbreaking for so long.
Yeah.
Right? So you do have ways.
Yeah, especially if decks are late on removal because they're trying to combat Golos.
Yeah.
It seems like a good direction to go.
Look at us.
Look at us building decks on the fly.
The other thing that the black decks get that helps against Golos is Legion's End. Right? So a lot of times Golos needs to play their 5 zombies to stabilize.
Yeah.
And then if you Legion's End them, then you can get in for the last little bit of damage.
Yeah.
So that is another thing to consider. Yeah. It's just the black decks are going to have Legion's End. And if you're black green, you also get Assassin's Trophy.
Yeah, black also gets some really good sideboard options against Golos too, right?
With Ashiok is so like you can just cheese them out by on turn 3 sticking an Ashiok, and then you've stunted their development. They have to actually like draw their lands and play them like normal people.
Yeah,
and
that's not like they can attack it down or anything.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of stuff. So like if they don't naturally have a field,
right,
they can't go find it with a Golos.
Yeah,
and so
they're not really going to swing an Arboreal Grazer into it.
I mean, you can.
It's
not going to do anything. Arena like teasing you with like, would you like to attack with your O3? No, I don't want to attack with my O3.
Not now, not ever.
Can we just skip through my attack phase? I will say, if my like daily is attack with a certain number of creatures,
you're attacking with Arboreal
sometimes
Grazer.
It's like, all right, get in there, buddy.
It's your day to shine.
Daddy needs 500 coins.
That's right.
So it was just all Golos. The other deck, so it was Golos, 13 Bant Goloses, and 1 or 2 other Golai. Right? And then the next deck with 3 whole copies.
This deck is sweet, though.
Jeskai Fires.
Yeah.
And I think it was the Planeswalker version of Jeskai Fires, but I don't know. There's 2 versions of Jeskai Fires right now.
Okay, I've mostly seen the Planeswalker version. I guess I don't know what the other version is.
The Martin Hughes Elementals one with
I haven't seen that one.
Cavalier of Flame and Cavalier of Gales.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that was the early version, right?
Yeah, I think he's still on it.
Okay.
Like, and that just like they play 2 Cavaliers and give them haste and kill you out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I was at 18, then I was dead.
Yeah.
I like played some stuff and did not leave back a blocker and died. But the Planeswalker version plays Narset, Drawn from Dreams, Sarkhan, Teferi, and Big Chandra in some builds.
Yep.
Or it's Big Chandra in the board. And they play Fires of Invention, which just gives you, as someone described it, a 2x Hearthstone mana.
Yep.
But you can't play spells on your opponent's turn. You can only play 2 spells a turn.
Yep.
And then they play 4 Fae of Wishes.
Right, to get whatever they need out of the sideboard.
Yeah.
And cast it for free.
Yeah, so you get the cast granted for free.
Yep.
With your fires, and then go cast what you got.
Yeah.
So you don't have the normal, like, I've got to pay 4 mana, and then I've got to wait a turn to cast the thing I get. It's like, no, you pay 0 mana.
And get your answer now.
And then you pay 0 mana and you do the thing.
Yeah.
And a lot of the decks have stone uncastables in their sideboard.
Like Nicol Bolas.
In your Casualties of War.
Yeah. Your Jeskai deck.
Yeah, double color in not either of your colors.
Right.
This can go... It can go big, but it also can just sweep up the board enough and slow the game down enough that 2 attacks from Sarkhan, again flying, can like win you the game.
Yeah, and like if you don't have Planeswalkers on the board, he just makes dragons too, so.
Yeah. And 2 dragons makes it so you can't attack with your zombies.
Yep.
That was like the next deck. And then it was really a bunch of 1-ofs. I don't know if there's another 3 in there.
Yeah, I don't think so. It was mainly just a bunch of
people have said that like the mono black decks, I don't know if they're built correctly, but the mono black decks are good against Golos.
I could see that.
The black elf.
Yeah.
Plus like Cauldron Familiar,
Spawn of Mayhem.
And Spawn of Mayhem.
Yeah.
Like those are all cards that give you reach.
Yeah.
Right? Like they can gum up the board, but you can like sack your Gutter Bones to your elf.
Right.
Draw a card, get back the gutter bones, play it, drain them for 1. Like you can set up these like kind of long grindy loops where they're like under a clock. You get in early and then late you're just
have a way to close the game
recycling
later.
Your stuff. Yeah.
There is a version of Mono Red kicking around too. I believe the current versions are mostly built around Torban.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what I would play right now, but if you want to,
that's
exists. Where I would start.
Yeah. I played some Mono Green.
Yeah.
The deck doesn't feel good enough. Like, it attacks on the ground, and Golos just is not about that life.
Yeah. A lot of the current stuff in Mono Green like doesn't have trample too.
No.
A lot of stuff they're playing. So
no, like I guess the questing beast does have like zombie evasion.
Yeah.
But
like Yorvo doesn't have trample, and Pulp Collector doesn't have trample.
At least not initially, and it's just a 4/4.
Yeah.
And if they have like 10 zombies out, like they're like, sure, kill dead. 2 zombies, eat your thing.
Yeah.
Play a land, get 4 zombies. I feel as though I lost on that exchange.
Any other like one-ofs you want to talk about before we talk about what we're playing?
Nothing that comes to mind. There was nothing that I saw that was like really like, oh.
Yeah.
I guess the other like best deck is the Simic or Sultai like mid-range deck with like Oko and Wicked Wolf.
Yeah, there's like 3 versions of this deck. Oh, that is another deck we can talk about quickly too. But there's 3 versions of this deck. There's Simic, Golgari, and Sultai.
Oh, there's a Golgari version?
They all kind of do the same thing. They're just like a mid-range deck that Golos just kind of goes bigger than.
Yeah, and that's the problem is like those decks are kind of just pushed down by you ground me out of cards, you 2-for-1 me, Krasis for 10.
Right.
Draw 5 cards.
Yeah.
6-for-1 you.
Right. Back in it.
Yeah. My 3/3 Wolf is less impressive now than your.
There is the Wolves deck too. That was the other deck we can talk about real quick.
Oh yeah, that PV played?
Yeah. PV played it. I think Gabby did a video on it.
Okay.
One of the guys at the store here played it at F&M last week.
Okay.
There's a couple different versions of this deck too, but they use like Wicked Wolf, Nightpack Ambusher, Tulsimir.
Yeah, they have like wolf synergies.
Yeah. Garrick is pretty good with wolves. That deck's sweet. I don't think it's like a tier 1 competitor, but it's sweet. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, there's like a 4-color version is what PV played, and then there's like the more 3-color like Abzan versions where you're playing like Tulsimir is your white card and Garrick as like the black, but it's basically a base green deck.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are some mid-range decks, but like with Golos going so big, I don't know how good those can be.
Yeah.
I mean, or you can figure out a way to like target Golos, but it's going to be hard in game 1, I think.
Yeah. We'll see where the format ends up. I don't think it's quite done evolving yet, but right now it is definitely Golos' world.
Yes. So what are you playing right now?
I am on a super sweet deck that Brian found me and tweeted out over the weekend.
I tried my best here.
I mean, I had my name written all over it.
Yeah.
It's Rakdos Adventures. If you want to hear more about it, I did a quick deck tech, posted it up yesterday on our YouTube channel, but I'm going to go over it right now too.
Okay.
It plays a whole bunch of knights.
Okay.
A lot of 1 and 2 drops, and plays Lucky Clover. So it gets to double up all of the adventures that it has. Some of the adventures that it has draw you cards, so you get to draw multiple cards.
So Falmire Knight.
Yep. Smitten Swordmaster will drain equal the number of knights you control. If you have a Lucky Clover, you get to do that twice.
Okay.
If you have a Lucky Clover, Murderous Rider kills 2 things. I had an opponent scoop when I had Murderous Rider kill their Oko and Garrick.
Ooh.
Yeah. They didn't want to play that game anymore.
I don't blame them.
Yep. But the deck plays a lot of really cheap creatures, so it can get damage in early, get some board presence, and then like it really doesn't matter if your opponent stabilizes because eventually you just fireball them with a Smitten Swordmaster.
Yeah, you deal like 10 to them.
Or more. Like I've done 18 with a Smitten Swordmaster.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's great. Deck's a lot of fun if you want to check the list out. Like I said, go over our YouTube page, and I did a deck tech on it, and it's also on our Twitter.
Yeah, I am a bad person, and I'm playing Golos.
You were kind of on Golos already, though.
Yeah.
Like before last standard, you were on Scape Shift, which is just like worse Golos, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I will point out that I did say that like blue-green rampy stuff was going to be the best deck in standard by far.
And that's basically what Golos is.
Yeah, it's like you've swapped out Nissas for Golos.
Yeah.
But you're still casting giant Hydroid Krasis.
Yeah.
I have I built a Brad Nelson list that he was playing in the most recent MPL split. Due to great advertising, no one knows what I just said.
Right.
But I think that deck was built middle of last week.
Oh, so it's super out of date.
So I think it's like I think the list I had was like October the 4th.
Oh, so it's like unplayable now, right?
It might be. It only had one Fae of Wishes, which is probably a mistake.
Yeah.
I'm interested in the Golos Fires deck because I was thinking about the same thing. Like, well, what if you like have fires and then you circuitous route and then you can just cast everything?
Yeah. That leaves your mana up for Golos too, right? Or does Golos cast?
Golos is you can play. So play is like you can play lands and cast.
Yeah. So that doesn't work with fires.
It doesn't work with fires.
Yeah.
I mean, it does let you find lands.
Right.
If you need a land in your 30 land deck. Right now we're at the point where everyone's trying to like out Golos the Golos decks.
Yeah.
So like Kenrith is the like trump in the Golos mirrors because you make a bunch of zombies and if they don't have a chance to make zombies to block, you win a lot of times. You get a lot of times where you like wrath the board, make 4 zombies.
Give them haste.
And then Kenrith can give them haste.
Yeah.
And so I guess he gives himself. Does he tap? Yeah, he taps to do that. So
does he?
Does he not?
I thought it was just activated ability.
Maybe it's just an activated. So does he give himself haste?
Maybe.
Oh man. But anyway, like Kenrith. So like right now, the Golos decks are trying to be more Golosy.
Yeah.
Which may open the door for
some aggro decks.
Yeah, like your Rakdos deck or something where they're so busy trying to be bigger than each other, they ignore everything under them.
So I believe that is the case. I played a bunch with this deck yesterday. I played it in the win one of every card in standard event. I think I was 6-2 in that event. So it did pretty good. Obviously, I didn't win one of every card, but it did pretty good. And I also hadn't played any ranked in like a month and a half or 2 months, so I got kicked all the way back to bronze.
Okay.
Way back in the bronze age. And I ran all the way up to gold in like an hour and a half.
That's
like,
pretty
it
good.
took no time. And I have not lost to a Golos deck with it.
Okay.
Like I said, you just get a bunch of early damage, and then it doesn't matter if they Golos and stabilize. You just fireball them out of the game.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
But I want to try Golos for a bit and find, like, try to see what the current sweet list is.
Yeah. Just
but I think it is some number of Fae of Wishes.
Keep in mind that, like, a month from today is GP Richmond.
I know.
So we do have to do something to get a deck together for that event.
I have to, like, figure something out. Yeah.
Yep.
Back to Arena.
Yeah.
So we already mentioned that there was the win one card of from all of Standard. Combined, we did not win one card because I think I went 4-2.
Okay.
So
we went 10-2. What was 10-2 good
10-4.
for? 10-4, yeah. 10-4, good buddy.
Yeah.
What was 10-4 good for? Do you remember?
Like a sealed token.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what it was. Was a sealed.
Like 11 wins was all the cards in Eldraine.
Yeah.
And 12 wins was all the cards in Standard. It would have just been so many gems for me.
So many gems.
That was like the big Arena thing. And it was also super weird that it was like, started like Saturday afternoon and ended like Sunday.
No, it was Saturday night.
Saturday night and ended like Monday morning at like 4 a.m. or something.
Yeah, it was
weird.
strange.
I was like, I saw the countdown for it and did not process. And then like Sunday, I was like, I guess I should try. So there's that. We're going to, like we said at the top, we're going to try to build a data sheet in the next day or two to just get started, get everyone kind of like back in the swing of things.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping that the data we get doesn't really show that Golos is everywhere. Like, I'm kind of hoping that the SCG event was kind of a fluke.
Yeah, and again, it might be, we talked about this outside again.
Yeah.
There was a point a few years ago where people would like win with a deck, write about the deck, and then the next week play the deck that beat that deck that they just hyped up for a week.
Yeah.
And maybe we're in that situation where everyone like is playing Golos, is going to write about how awesome Golos is, and then there's like a hard counter to Golos that we've not seeing.
Yeah. So some other podcasts that have way more listeners than we do.
Yeah, downloaded the podcast like 12 times than these guys.
Mentioned that they get on average the same number of downloads for one of their episodes as Wizards got viewers for the last Pro Tour.
Well, we can say the name of the podcast. We've said it before.
Yeah, the Arena Decklist podcast.
There we go.
Had like 18,000 downloads on average for their episodes.
Is that all that like Wizards gets in coverage?
Yeah.
Dear God.
Yeah.
They're terrible at this.
Yeah. But like when you have that kind of numbers though, looking to you for what to play for an event, you can kind of game the system a little bit. If 1% of those people show up to an event, that's a good chunk of the field that...
I mean, I think that it's a much higher than 1%.
Oh, I'm sure.
Of their players, because like just like the number of like names in the Discord
Yeah.
that they talk about, and I was like, oh yeah, all these people showed up at the event.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that like having a big podcast,
maybe one day,
and saying like Bant Golos is the best deck, which was like Thursday's episode,
right?
And then a bunch of people who play SCG listen to the podcast, and then Bant Golos was the best deck.
Yeah.
And how much of that was overrepresented because everyone said Bant Golos was good, or it was good and it was just really good against what everyone else showed up with.
Yeah.
Because I think if you or a casual tryhard, and you show up with like a deck you played on Arena some or you thought was good, like I think like a tuned Golos deck probably just smushes it.
Probably.
Right. And so like, you didn't have 90 hours last week to just play standard on Arena, and you like were like, oh, this deck seems pretty good. I saw a video about it, and so I'm playing it, and like I'm gonna play like Abzan Wolves.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh cool. Here's like
100 zombies.
Yeah, here's 100 zombies.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work.
My wolf is gonna enter the battlefield and fight one of them.
Exactly. And I'm gonna gain 3 life.
Yeah.
Yes, scrub. and they're gonna be like, cool.
Make 100 zombies.
Make 100 more zombies.
Yeah.
Activate Golos, cast 3 spells for free.
Yeah.
So I think that like that might be part of it as well. Like it may be that like we have really going forward split like the player base into the people that have a ton of time to grind Arena.
Yeah.
And the people that are employed.
Right.
And so so those people come and they've got like 40 hours of testing in with this like, and they've like refined a Golos deck, and you're playing a cool deck.
Yeah.
Right. And that's just gonna like that gap's gonna get bigger and bigger. Yeah, but we're hoping that Golos just isn't the format.
Yeah.
Because like the deck is fine. The game just ended up being miserable.
Especially the mirrors, man. I can see those mirrors being.
And I played a mirror, and I think that like 7 or 8 Wraths were cast.
Yeah.
And the game hinged on me. I left a Fae of Wishes on an adventure.
Yeah.
For multiple turns, and then brought it back, tutored for a Jace, and then milled myself and won the game. Like with 10 cards left in my deck, I was like, we're on the Jace plan.
So do you remember like 3 or 4 years ago during Con Standard where they had that green-white manifest deck?
That like won GP Orlando.
Yeah.
And like everyone had like 300 life.
Yeah. It broke like the life trackers.
Yeah,
like,
they couldn't track the life
trackers.
And like it was just piles of manifest tokens everywhere.
That's what Golos reminds me of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That deck was good for exactly 1 tournament.
So when that deck got good for that 1 tournament, I came here to Myrtle Beach Games and bought every copy of Mastery of the Unseen they had in stock, just so I wouldn't have to play against it.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can corner the market. Do you not want to play against Golos at your house? Just buy all of them.
Buy all of them.
Myrtle Beach Games has 3 left. I bought 4. Can't cut me off. I think it's basically all of our Arena stuff.
Yeah, I think so.
I think the thing to look forward to is in 2 weeks, we have Mythic Championship 5, which is the Arena-based Mythic Championship. They released the roster today.
Yep.
So there's a reasonable mix of like streamers and like more high-end players.
Yeah.
Not to say that streamers aren't high-end players, but you know what I mean.
I mean, we're not there, so.
Yeah, and please. $550 combined Magic the Gathering GP wordings.
4 combined pro points.
That's 4. 4. That's 4 more than people. Some people. That's also like 500 less than some people.
Right, yeah.
But 4. We could play like together. Like we could just be like one team.
Like that guy where his mom does the cards for him, right?
Yeah. Sandy Dog MTG is his Magic Online name.
All right.
There you go. But he does have like multiple sclerosis or something. Like he has a reason.
Oh no, he's good. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, or the little girl. What's the little girl's name that her dad shuffles her deck
Dana
for?
Fisher.
Dana Fisher. Yeah.
Yeah. She's awesome.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Dana Fisher or don't know who she is, you should definitely look her up.
She's like 7 now, and like just cosplays Nissa everywhere,
and plays elves in every event.
She stopped playing elves.
No.
Yeah, she's played something.
She day 2'd with elves. 7 years old, day 2'd with elves.
I think she day 2'd when she was like 5 with elves.
Yeah.
I remember I was watching. She was playing in GP Vegas, and She's playing elves, and her opponent, a grown man with, I assume, money because he was in Vegas, was playing Burn and went turn 2 Magma Jet. And I was like, you deserve to lose this game. You brought this on yourself. Magma Jet, are you serious? Get out of here.
And Burn, yeah.
And got 2 games easy. And yeah, she's the youngest person to ever day 2.
Yep.
But yeah, she switched. She just posted, Channel Fireball just retweeted a picture of her. She apparently stayed at GP Montreal until it closed.
Oh, wow.
She was like one of the last people there because she was like jamming a Brawl game.
Awesome.
So there's like with everything, there's a 7-year-old somewhere
better than you.
Better than you. There's a 7-year-old right now who's like unwrapping a toy, making $4 million on YouTube.
Yeah.
And we're doing this.
And here we are.
If I unwrap packs, would you guys like give me lots of views? There we go.
Maybe.
Okay. With that,
speaking of lots of views.
Okay.
My wife is out of town for most of this month.
Or the wife's away. The Carson will record.
Yeah, so I'm going to try and do some gameplay videos.
There we go.
That my deck tech yesterday was kind of a tester.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens. If you guys like them, let us know. If you have any decks you want to see, let me know.
We have wild cards.
You probably have more than I do, but I'll see what I can do.
I have 44 rare wild cards right now.
Okay, I do not.
And I have every rare and standard, I think.
There you go.
So I don't know what I'm going to do with them.
Save them.
Yeah.
Buy the entire next set when it comes out without putting any money into it.
Sweet. With all of this and our little sidetrack on small Magic celebrities, I think we're done with this podcast.
I think so, yeah.
So we've talked Brawl, we've talked Standard, we've talked Arena.
Yep.
All that's left is to tell people where to find us in case you forgot.
So where can they find us?
On Twitter at Casual Tripod.
On Facebook, Casual Tryhard MTG. You can email us at show@casualtryhardmtg.com and check out our YouTube channel, Casual Tryhard MTG.
James apparently is going to just be uploading stuff like crazy.
I wouldn't go that far, but I will do what I can.
Like crazy.
Like crazy.
And with that, we'll catch you next week.
Yeah, we'll catch you at FNM.